Hello everybody, welcome to the United Front. This is your latest Manchester United transfer news as Vlahovic offered to Manchester United, according to Fabrizio. Obviously, we've been linked with him for a while now. Ashley Young comments on Ruben Amorim if he should there should be no excuses. And obviously, outgoings from Manchester United, like Rashford, Sancho, Malacia, Anthony, and Garnacho, will be training with the under 10s after 5 o'clock. So basically, um, training after as soon as Ruben Amorim and his players are, done with training. So yeah, let's get to it. Um, better to start with Ashley Young. So, yeah, Ashley Young. Obviously, and you kind of see a certain person or a certain ex-footballer and you kind of think, well, is he going to be a knobhead or is he actually going to be more reasonable? And, Ashley Young, I don't know, he was probably spent. I didn't really watch the video that he did on Sky anyway, but all I needed to hear was no excuses, it's an hour and never for Amarin. And it just sounds like someone who's going out after the manager and not going after Ineos. And it's just annoying. I don't know. Does this happen with every ex-football player? They just look at the manager, not the ownership. It's just tiring. It's the same with the Glazers. When before Ineos came in, people would always look at the manager and not the Glazers. And they've been escaping. They've not been escaping, but they haven't been given the criticism that they deserve. And now it's happening on Ineos. So it's just that, hearing from someone like Ashley Young to say, it's now or never for Amrin. Of course, it's. I'm not saying he's not gonna be under pressure. Of course he is. Because this was supposed to be a season where he's gonna get a preseason. He's gonna get the players that he thought he was gonna get, and it didn't go to plan. And I just want to add in Amram for a bit because I didn't mention it in my previous video. Amarim said in his press conference, I believe it was against Arsenal, and this was when he drew against Ipswich and won against Everton and Bodø/Glimt, and he said that there was going to be a storm coming. And he was right. After that game, we lost to Arsenal, and then we just kept continuing. Us losing was a regular thing. Let's just put it that way. And obviously, at the end of the season, when we beat Villa, he goes and apologizes to the fans, which is not his responsibility, because he shouldn't be apologizing. It should be the owners who have been not helping this manager when he's supposed to, and he's just doing their job. So it's just frustrating. And obviously he goes and says, the good days are coming, and that kind of felt like, wow, him saying that we were actually going to do business. And for him to say that, and obviously seeing the off the pitch stuff, it just hasn't happened. He's only got Cunha. That's it. No outgoings, no incomings. Obviously Mboma was still to be decided, but that's taken far too long. And him saying that, and you thinking, what, he's gonna get help, but he hasn't got help. He says the good days are coming because he thought, I'm going to get what I want and we're going to have a good preseason. Obviously, we start the season strong, but that hasn't been the case. Him saying that he thought he was still in Sporting. Now, I know you can get whatever you want in Sporting because you guys got good ownership. It's a, well, the ownership is more of a fan club, so every indecisive decisions to be made, the fans have their say, but this is Manchester United and you've got dickheads around you. So, him saying that to, United fans, and then obviously it doesn't come out to be true. It's almost like he's lying to you guys, but it's not his fault because he never knew. Oh wow, even off the pitch, I'm not gonna get what I want. And obviously it's July, and we're obviously 5 days away from our first preseason game against Leeds, and we still haven't signed anyone. We haven't sold anyone. It just shows like, and it's amazing because obviously after a week, I didn't want football to come back, but then obviously it was the heat of the moment because we lost to Spurs, and obviously we beat Villa, and obviously ended our worst season ever. And then obviously, you get back to, oh, I want football to come back, and it's crazy because it's off season. You're thinking, oh my god, when's football gonna come back? And the days have just been passed. Like I don't know. Is it me or has time gone quicker? Because I can just remember Amrin's speech against Villa like it was yesterday. It was that quick. So, I mean, look, Ashley Young, he's not going to be the first person to say that it's on the manager's. Previous ex-players have done that. Previous. But it's the same. It's like, it's not even deja vu, you can say. It's just copy and paste. You're gonna hear this from this. You're gonna hear this from that, from the mainstream. Like, it's just easy. So, could I say, look, because he did speak a lot of sense when I think we lost to Tottenham and Tottenham was in charge, and obviously, he was obviously under pressure at the time, but obviously him talking about Amrin, and obviously Amrin's going to be under pressure, there's no doubt about it, but him saying it's now or never when he hasn't got the players he wants, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't, if we're still in the same position as of last season. Because how are you going to go from our shittest season and not do business there? It's crazy, and I don't understand, because we can be here talking about Ineos saying, oh, why did Sir Jim buy it if he knew he was going to do more reductions than that's ever been before at the club. He won't spend money, obviously, fair enough, it's 23%, but then again, you don't want to spend money, but then what was the point? If you knew you weren't going to get full ownership, then there was no point even having a quarter of the takeover. So, I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to go to Vlahovic. So, this is where it gets interesting, because obviously, as you guys know, Gyökeres is going to Arsenal. So, for those that were hoping, including me, he's going to Arsenal, Osimhen's going to Galatasaray, and you kind of felt like those were the two that could take us to move up to the top six. And obviously them two going to other clubs, who do you go for? And obviously Vlahovic is there, and obviously Juventus are offering him to let him go. He's gonna be a free. Now, if you told me a few years ago if Vlahovic was gonna go on a free, I would have easily taken that. Because there was a time where you saw Haaland coming through. I think probably he was at Dortmund at the time, and obviously he was a rising star, Haaland. And then Vlahovic was coming along. I think he probably might have been at Fiorentina himself. And it's like he could be like the next big thing as well. He could be one of the best young strikers to look at in Europe. And I don't know what's happened to him. The downgrade, it just needs to be, talked about, because it's just crazy. And then obviously, you kind of feel like why United don't want to take the risk despite being a free is because he does have red flags. Otherwise, a team like Juventus, if you were that good, in terms of relevancy or skill and quality, then Juventus would have, renewed your contract. But as I did check, I did calculate it, he's around 20 million in salary, so that's technically 300k a week. And you're thinking to yourself, not only that, he's injury prone as well, which is like it's like paying Mason Mount from Chelsea again and giving him high wages. It's the same with that. He's injury prone and he's gonna be he's on a lot of money at Juventus. So there's a reason why Juventus want to let him go and obviously be part of the Sancho swap deal as well. So yeah. But the thing is as well with I don't know who would you go for. I mean, if people are saying Ekatike, I'm just looking at this from Florian Pletigo, Newcastle looking at him. So I don't know where does this leave Isak. So, but I mean, tell me what striker we should go for. If you told me a few years ago, at the level where Gyökeres and Osimhen are right now, if you told me a few years ago he would get to that level, he would almost be potential to be at that level, Vlahovic would be there. 100% he would be there. But obviously now in 2025 and he's obviously downgraded and obviously he's got a lot of red flags in him, maybe there's a reason why we don't want to risk with him, especially being on a free. So is this like what? Is this like another Casemiro signing or Jadon Sancho? We pay for someone. I mean, we only paying his wages, but I mean, what's the point of paying for Vlahovic if he's injury prone and he's on a lot of money? There's just no point. So, I mean, but is there any option? Is there any option? Because I can't think of any striker who's good within our budget and is absolutely tearing it apart. I mean, I say tearing it apart as if they're gonna join United without European football, but I mean, it's just striker options are gonna be limited for us. And I did say this last month. I mean, not last month, after the final. If we don't get either Osimhen or Gyökeres, they're gonna be gone. Because I know next season, let's just say we don't get a striker now. If we go to next season and we look for a striker and we're thinking, oh, let's get Osimhen, let's get Gyökeres. Oh shit, Arsenal have Gyökeres. Galatasaray have Osimhen. And we're like this on our heights thinking, but they were supposed to come to us. I mean, it's just unreal. Like, this waiting game around United is unreal. I mean, the question is, who do you go for? This is a problem. And strikers are not cheap. They're not cheap. And this is what annoys me as well, because we went from Gyökeres to Osimhen to now Calvert-Lewin, Vardy and Callum Wilson are free, who are free transfers. And I'm thinking to myself, you're looking at Dumfries, and no one was looking at Jonathan David. And I'm thinking to myself, fine, maybe Amrin didn't want that type of striker because Amrin was a tall striker who can hold the play and whatever. But if you guys were worried about budget, why didn't you go with Jonathan David? Of course, there's that whole personal agreement within player and the club, and obviously, what if he wanted to play for a European team? That is the question, and obviously he's gone to Juventus, so obviously that means it is obviously out of the door for Vlahovic. But I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, do you go with Vlahovic? Because I've said my part. He's got red flags, but at the end of the day, he could be probably an asset. Maybe on his good day, because I mean, hang on a minute. I'm just checking on his stats. I just completely forgot how many goals he had. So, I mean, not Serbia. So his first season was 7 goals, 1 assist in 50 appearances. So I'm judging it on league in the Serie A. So next season he got 27 appearances, 10 goals, 2 assists. Next season after that is his best season at Juve, 33 appearances, 16 goals and 4 assists. And then this season, obviously, which is last season, 10 goals and 4 assists in 29 games. So pretty much he missed 8 games that season. So, I mean, judging by that season, 10 goals, 4 assists, I think that's what Højlund was putting up. and that's in the league as well. So for Vlahovic to come to United, to not only to United, to the Premier League, I mean, that's where it gets tough. It's even more tougher. So if you can't do it in the Italian league, then how are you gonna do it in the league, which is obviously a worry. But anyway, I want you hang on a minute. Yeah, Fabrizio just confirmed it. Ekatike to Newcastle. Negotiations happening. So yeah. But anyway, to the next one. Yeah. So United outgoing. So Jadon Sancho, Rashford, Anthony, Garnacho, and Malacia will train at Carrington. But after Ruben Amorim, his staff and the players are gone after 5 p.m. and apparently they're training with under 10s, which is interesting. But you know what? I mean, I look at this and I'm thinking, what is the point? Like, what is the point? There's no point in having those players at Carrington when we know they're gonna go out. They're unlikely to play in pre-season, so there's no point. I know they're United players still, but you need to be focused about, they need to be at Carrington training and whatever. I'm telling you, look, if Sir Alex Ferguson, and it's always about going back to Sir Alex Ferguson, I know it's boring talk, but if it was Sir Alex Ferguson, I think they'd be banned from Carrington, which I think Amorim should have done that, but apparently rumours were again, Garnacho was back allowed in training by Amorim. Which is like, why? And even Amorim doesn't want Garnacho because apparently he said you better find a new club. But I mean, it's just amazing because you're seeing these players that are supposed to be gone, and we're still making them train in Carrington after 5 p.m. And obviously those staff people that have to obviously be there, which is I feel sorry for them because it's just not their priority. Like there's just no point. So it's like there's just no point. I mean, what's the point of being at Carrington after 5 p.m. until Ruben Amorim pisses off, and then your head doing what? Training after 5 p.m. and that's it. It's just pointless. It's just pointless at this point because they're supposed to be out. They're training, and for what? It's amazing how Ineos have allowed that, and the fact that they're more worried about them not training in Carrington than actually selling them, which is absolute horseshit. But anyway, but it's just like what's the point? There's just no point in having these players around in Carrington, even if it's after 5 p.m., even if it's not even appearing in front of Amorim. There's just no point, These players should be gone, but guess what? We got shit owners who can't not only bring in players, but can't sell these players. So, anyway. Richard Rios, I did talk about this in my previous show. As I did say, I don't have a view on him because I haven't watched a lot of football, but I've been hearing from United fans that he is a player that we should be looking at, so I'll take your word at it. But not only that, Forest and Wolves are looking at him as well, and he's obviously valued at 30 to 35 million euros, so that's 25 million pounds. So that's where Palmeiras value him at. And the question is that I mean, how long is this? How long is this gonna take in negotiations if we do go for him? Because not only that, I mean, we're still on Mbromo, which is so funny because it's not like as if we're done with Mbromo. Here we go. Let's go to the other player. They're not multitasking where they have a set of people working on the Vlahovic deal. Let's just say. And then a set of people doing the Rios deal, and then a set of people doing the Bromo deal. That's not how it's basically not how it is. So, unless we don't get here we go from Mbromo, you're not going to get any green light or negotiations from United at this point on Rios, let alone Vlahovic, because even if we do go with Vlahovic anyway and Rios, we need to get here we go from Mboma, which we haven't got. So you know, but I mean, this is where it is. So we're obviously looking at Rios, obviously a midfielder, which I feel like we should get anyway. But my question is, if we do get here we go from Mboma, whenever that is, do you go for the striker? Do you prioritize the striker first, or do you prioritize a midfielder, which is Rios? Personally, I think striker because, look, he's not going to be on preseason. Because when was the last time we had a striker on preseason that we've signed? Never. I mean, for the past 5 years that I know, not one striker that I remember that was going on preseason with United. So no. But I mean, look, it just depends on Mboma. You know, I just hate going back to Mboma because it's tiring. It's like, when is it gonna happen? United fans sulking, having sulky faces. Like, for us to move on to other deals, Mboma needs to be done, which is annoying. You know, just like how they're gonna announce the kit and possibly Mboma on that same day. It's the same thing. We can't go to other targets without completing a deal for Mboma, which they did say, as Fabrizio did say, if United do go for Vlahovic, they need to focus on Mboma till they go to Vlahovic, and it's the same with Rio. So, you know, but as I did say before in my previous show, I do wish I saw Palmeiras against Chelsea because obviously having a view on Richard Rios especially, but I mean, you know, United need to obviously be quick, and obviously I say quick, but they're not going to be because you know there are slow as a snail. But if we get in promo and we do get Richard Rios, and obviously our other clubs looking at him like Wolves and Nottingham Forest, you're thinking, who would he choose? You'll probably choose United more likely because obviously the stature of the club. No disrespect to Forest and Wolves, but you know the only possible reason he could go to Forest is because they have European football. But I mean, is he gonna join United without European football? Is he gonna join Forest with European football? So that is the question, obviously, for Rios. But again, we can't make signings without Mboma. Here we go, and we're still waiting for that. So, you know, it's frustrating. So, yeah. I want to talk about John Victor again. I just hate, you know, not knowing these players that we're linked to. But I think he plays for Botafogo. Sorry if I butchered that, but yeah, goalkeeper. He's 29 and he's got he's valued 9 million. So, I mean, I've heard people saying he's 29 years old, and I'm thinking to myself, well, he's a keeper. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna say he's gonna be like Buffon, having that longevity till playing till in his 40s. No, but 29 is like, is basically being considered what, your early 20s. You know, when people say, oh, he's 29, so he's basically compared to a 29 midfielder or a 29-year-old striker or a 29-year-old defender. No, goalkeepers are way different than outfield players, and I've said another example, Buffon. You know, obviously his longevity speaks as well. You know, and obviously there's this. Obviously, Onana's injured and whatever, and people are questioning whether Binder is the player to step up. But obviously the question is John Victor, is he good enough? Which obviously reports are saying that even United are liking him, and he's well. Clubs are looking at him around of Europe as well. So, I mean, by telling of that, I mean, despite not me knowing about a thing about him, you know, probably say he's good. But that's the question, you know, do you consider him a second? Do you consider him as a first? Do we get him? Does that mean Onana's out the door? Or is he a backup to Onana, which I don't think should be the case because we do need a keeper that is better than Onana and possibly buying there. So I mean, 9 million, which is really cheap, especially he's 29 and obviously looked around of Europe. I mean, I don't see why you don't get him, but the question is, like I said with Mbromo, we don't get an Mbromo, here we go. You can forget about signing anyone else. You know? It's crazy how we need one deal to be done for us to go in other negotiations. It's crazy. So, but I mean, I do apologize for not knowing much about John Victor, but as I'm hearing obviously from United United fans and obviously around Europe, I mean, he is obviously highly rated, and as I'm reading as well, he's appreciated internally, highly rated by scouts. Let's see if club to club contact will follow. At the moment, not yet. So that's coming from Give Me Sport. But look, I mean, look, scouts are saying he's good. I mean, I just want to check. Sorry, because I did say he's from Botafogo. I don't want to get the Botafogo. I'm sorry, I'm Botafogo. Yeah, so I'm saying it right. Okay, I thought I butchered that. So yeah, same league as where Palmeiras and Fluminense are in. So, and obviously there've been people been saying that why haven't we as Manchester United as a club haven't been scouting Brazil, because that's where most people look at talented players, and obviously you look at Estavo from Palmeiras who's gone to Chelsea, so maybe that's what United are looking at. Obviously looking at Richard Rios and obviously John Victor. So but my view on this, would I take him? Well, obviously what we have, 100%, because we got Onana, a goalkeeper who can't save his life, and obviously Bayern there who's absolutely struggling. Obviously, the question is, does Bayern there stay or does he go? Because I'm thinking to myself, we need one of those keepers to go, and obviously most people, if I had a poll on me right now, would want Onana out over Bayern there. But I just have a feeling maybe Bayern there is more likely to go than Onana, So yeah, but anyway, that's today's show. I mean, it's just frustrating. I mean, we don't have any like breaking news like in promo, or like any positive news, because obviously, I mean, what's positive anyway? We wanted certain people and we can't get them because what? We're in Europe and we're absolute shower of shite. So, it's just who we are. But it's just like, how can a deal take over 2 months? Which it's just so funny. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Take care. See you on the next one.